Then just as sudden, a clear thought came to me that put a very satisfying smile on my face. I was actually in an ideal dreamscape, and nonetheless a very realistic dreamscape of a SETI researcher. The acronym SETI, S-E-T-I, stands for the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. The mission of the world-renowned SETI Institute in the Silicon Valley in California is to explore, understand, and explain the origin, nature, and prevalence of life in the universe. So with purposeful intent, I looked around and I made an appeal to a local astronomer just sitting there not far from me. "Where am I?" I asked. "Where is my Mother Earth and Father Sun, the hub of our 12 zodiacal constellation satellites, our ZPS, our zodiacal positioning system?" He said, "You're 20.3 light years from Alpha Libri, otherwise known as Zubi del Janubi, the brightest star in the constellation Libra." This was a nice hard fact, but it is not particularly useful by itself because, standing where I am, I could be anywhere on a circle or sphere that has a radius of 20.3 light years centered on Alpha Libri. So I turned and I asked someone else who was now looking at me, "Where am I? Where's Mother Earth?" And she says, "You're 88 light years from the brightest star, Aldebaran, in the constellation Taurus." Now I was starting to get somewhere. If I combined the Libra distance with the distance of Taurus, I have two circles or spheres that intersect. At this scale, I know that our Earth and Sun must be at one of these two intersection points. I immediately reverted to the orienting mathematics of trilateration, which can be used by both the old and newly proposed GPS-ZPS satellite systems. I knew all I had to do was work the math from destination back to location instead of location to destination to get back home. Now, there is slight differences in the math, of course, because the stars and their constellations would look a little bit different from Gliese 581d point of view. Then, evidently wanting to contribute to the conversation at hand, a third person jumped forward and told me I am 71 light years from the alpha star Regulus in the constellation satellite Leo. I now had enough information to set up a trilateration problem. As an aside, I had long ago committed to memory the alpha stars in each of the 88 constellations. Now I could eliminate one of the possible points because the third circle will only intersect with one of the two intersection points, which will be the location of our Earth-Sun. Look at the green dot. Now, when I first came up with the idea of Skywalking 101, I asked a very capable artist friend of mine, TM, whose lifelong fascination and study of astronomy and science qualifies her, if she could create the images and text for this critical cosmic part of this Skywalking 101, which culminated in the picture above. I'll explain this shortly, but first, I also want to say that during one of my enlightening discussions with TM, something like breaking news happened. TM recognized she could design a device that connects the mathematical results of trilateration measurements to specific directions on the sky. In the somewhat distant future, TM's device could stand alongside the sundial and the sextant or any other astronomical devices of wonder. Her invention's function is to display and plot the here and there for adventurous skywalkers based on trilateration mathematics. I call this prophetic instrument an alpha star plotter. Prophetic because it anticipates and satisfies the need for a backup or safety net system for all newcomers to the noble adventures of skywalking, and would allow them to plot their way home throughout the whole ZPS system as proposed earlier. Looking at this instrument close up, the two green rods or lines serve as the alpha star plotters. They extend from the point where you stand, the familiar "you are here" point. The blue arrow or line is the path that will direct you to your destination, for instance, your home planet. The colorful lines, hoops, and sphere are connected rigidly to one another. Once the entire device has been oriented so that the two green rods are aligned with two of the stars used in the trilateration computations, the blue arrow will point toward the Skywalker's destination. Here's how TM worked it out. In 3 dimensions, the intersection of two spheres is a circle, figure 1. The star plotter itself has 2 circles, 2 yellow arches, figure 2. Because one circle is the intersection of the solid spheres in figure 1, and the other circle is in the intersection of the basket woven sphere representing Libra, figure 3. Using dashed lines for the 3D basket woven spheres, figure 4 shows both Earth distances and Gliese 581 distances simultaneously, the red and the green dots. In this skywalking trilateration problem, each circle intersects with the sphere of the alpha star plotter instrument in figure 5. The one centered on Alpha Leo, Regulus, and they take on the appearance of arches. Earth is at 1 foot of one arch, green dot. Gliese 581 is at 1 foot of the other arch, red dot. Each foot of an arch is equidistant from the 3 stars used in the trilateration equations, so trial and error may be needed to determine which foot is the correct one to place the starting end of the 3 rods. Now, I know that this sounds difficult, but look at the pretty pictures. My friend TM took a lot of time to do this, spent hours and hours of her hard work. And I appreciate it because it is the science part of this, and not only the science part of it, but it's a future science because we aren't on other planets yet physically. The single remaining sphere of the 3 spheres that she used, the 3 zodiacal constellation satellites centered on their respective alpha stars to figure the way back to Earth, is what sits atop the breaking news pedestal. So again, looks complex, it's pretty. Just look at it and feel what it is that I'm saying. Using the alpha star plotter on Gliese 581d, I could clearly see my way back to my home star, our father sun, the yellow star with flares just below the center of this image. I appreciatively took full advantage of TM's ingenious scientific perspective, and at the speed of light, I was home. I returned immediately to Earth. Thank you, TM.